Ka-ching, ching, ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. And welcome to the Atheist Jesus Podcast Secular Saturday. Today with me I have three of my brothers. Well, we have a new addition to the family. So first off, I'm going to start with the newest one, Fluff. Fluff, say hi. Or wave like a little bitch. Then we
That counts as hi.
Then we have my brother Seth, who was on here episode or two before. Then we have Joaquin, Native American. We make fun of the raping and pillaging of his people's land continuously through this episode.
You know it.
The young
atheist, straight up.
And then, of course, I wouldn't be able to manage this without her, and since all hell broke loose, she's just gonna, keep her camera off today, which is weird. I mean, I can't tell you how many comments I get about the things people want to do to you, Jen. We have Jen, of course, who took over shit when I decided to disappear. Jen, I guess you can say hi, even though no one can see you.
The reason the camera's off, I'm severely pissed with my sister, and I kind of just want to punch a wall right now.
Beat her with a shovel. That's what I did to mine.
Throw a trash can at her ass.
Shovel with it.
Anyway, so Jen, darling, will you start us off with our first topic?
There's a monkey being a cat on my Facebook. I'm confused.
Or you can start us off with that. That's totally fine as well.
It's always awesome to talk about pillaging the Jews.
Wait a minute. Anyway, everyone shut up. Jen, what was the first story we were going to talk about?
So, the first story we have for you tonight is a story that actually took place kind of close to my area. A 3-year-old boy was brutally beaten by his parents while being hung upside down from, I believe it was a tree. Let me pull up the article real quick. Boy beaten to death. Yep. Took place in a horrible town outside of Philly known as Chester. Don't ever go there.
Alex, ask Mom if she's been there.
Probably.
Exactly. Any terrible place in Penn State, she's been there.
It's our version of a ghetto.
There's like 90.
You a ghetto.
That entire state is a ghetto. But anyway, this ghetto in Child Molesterville, Sandusky. But anyway, so what in the world fucking happened in Chester the Molesterville?
So basically, there's this 3-year-old boy. They're keeping the name quiet. It looks like. He was hung upside down and beaten to death by his mother and mother's boyfriend. The boy's name was actually Scotty.
Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know. Oh. So don't tell Scotty. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know. Continue.
Scotty doesn't know is he ain't anywhere.
I beat him on his birthday.
So the parents proceeded to hang him upside down and whip him with a curtain rod while laughing. Police say there were no drugs.
Screaming bloody murder, but I'm not stopping. Scotty doesn't continue.
This is why we can't have nice things. Just point that out.
But yeah, so what do you guys think about two adults beating a child to death for no reason? No drugs, no alcohol, just they became angry with him, took him out, hung him up, and beat him with a curtain rod.
And before we do this, there's going to be an order to this. So before everyone starts talking once, because I see Joaquin just left. Let me go first. I don't know, as a victim of child abuse, I don't know, it's just a really weird story. Because it's like they beat the fuck out, from my understanding, they beat the fuck out of the kid over breakfast. like such a menial thing, and then the way they did it was truly cruel and unusual. Like I mean, it's not like I haven't had weird objects, but a frying pan while you're hanging a child upside down, like this kid's 3 years old. It doesn't mean this doesn't seem in any way it could ever be conceived or thought of as right in any circumstance, and it's just really fucked up. Like, why would you? Who the fuck hangs? Yes, I'm gonna hang this child upside down.
It's America.
I mean, it's not even that though. It's just fucking. I mean, it's just fucking brutal. Like, I've seen some shit, and that's fucking. That's seriously brutal. But what do you think, Fluff?
Well, I mean, considering the area, it's not really the best. And then, well, I'm trying to be nice about it, but it's Hickville.
They were right. Before we go with any race cards, they were right.
Oh yeah, no. Let's be understood, because I feel like race is gonna become part of a conversation later. But just for the now, yeah, they were like white, like good old average American white.
They were me.
Yes.
But I mean, I don't know. It just. Not to mention, what the fuck is up with, like, Pennsylvania? Like, the whole, everything with, like, kids. You have Sandusky, and now you have this shit, and I believe there was, unfortunately, a black couple, if I'm not mistaken, it was in Penn State, that fucking beat the shit out the kid, then duct taped him and threw him in, like, a little wooden chest, and, like, locked down the chest, and left him there. And he died, of course, but it's just like, y'all have a fucking terrible, like, situation with children up there. Seth, what the fuck do you think about this story?
To me, it sounds like the parents were probably raised pretty badly, and they
I mean, with a name like Chester, like, come on now.
Yeah.
Chester molester.
If I was in a town like Chester, I probably would have done the same.
I mean, I guess we can look. Yeah, I guess it is something to say to look back at the parents, but still, like, regardless of the upbringing of the parents, I personally can't see how someone could do something this cruel.
I'm not sure.
Possessed by Satan.
Nah. Satan's been pretty kind to me. He's letting my internet work, even though I haven't paid the bill. Is Joaquin back?
Yeah, he's back. I'll be right back.
Alright, tell it. Well, since we're waiting on Joaquin, Jen, how do you feel about this? Especially since it was closer to you than it is for any of us.
Given the fact that this took place, like, literally 20 minutes from here, it's incredibly heartbreaking, but I will say this. It's not uncommon for that area. Like, this is basically nothing. There are quite a few shootings, beatings, rapings. Basically, you don't want to be in Chester at any time of the day. There is never a good reason to be in Chester. Like, it could be 2 o'clock in the middle of August, in, like, the brightest day, when the sun is closest to the earth, and you have maximum light, and you still don't want to be in that city because of shit going down. It's a bad.
No, it just sounds like Mom grew up there. Yeah. Probably. She probably did her dirt there. But I mean, realistically, that's the sad part. What you just brought up is the fact that this is, in the grand scheme of things that happen in Chester, really in America, period, if you want to go on the scale of terrible things, is it really a speck of the terrible shit that not only happens to children, but happens, period, on a daily fucking basis. I mean, it's especially heart-wrenching that it happened to a child, because, you know, obviously a 3-year-old can't defend itself against 2 grown folk, much less, you know, anyone else. But, I mean, shit like this, it seems to happen more and more every day. It seems to be brought to light more and more every day. Since we're waiting on Joaquin, I'm not going to wait on him. So, for the two who are watching, the people who are going to watch after this whole show is going to be relatively about the child abuse and shit. I can give my experiences and different things, but just different cases and the whole like issue of child abuse and discipline and where to draw the line necessarily, because it is a very, very, very thin line for some people, and then for some it's a wide ass gap, like a very obvious thing. And for some it's just like a big gray muddled ball. So first question I'm going to ask, and I see Joaquin is back. Sorry, we skipped you for the last topic, so we're going to go to a new one.
It's alright. It's alright.
Where, I guess this would be a good thing, is where do we begin to draw the line between discipline and abuse? And this is just on a physical level. I'm not even talking about a mental level.
That's as far as it needs to go.
Well, I'm just saying, but like, or should we even continue corporal punishments as a form of punishment, like on minor things? Like, it seems to me a rather archaic system. But then again, I'm not a parent. I've taken care of kids. I've had kids kind of adopt me as their dad, but I've never, no one has the other half of my genetic DNA, so I wouldn't know.
As far as we know.
And unfortunately, Gary isn't here. So I think since we made you go last, Jen, what do you think about that?
Wait, what was the question?
God damn it, Jen.
I'm dealing with. I am fucking multitasking.
I understand. The line between discipline and abuse, and whether corporal punishment should still be a thing.
Okay, this is my take on this. I got my ass beat as a kid when I did do something wrong. I'm not a fucking psycho. Okay, I am a psycho, but that's for completely different.
Like, don't you lie to me.
You're a psycho, but you're able to control it, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
You're a psycho, but you're in fact a psycho.
The beatings had nothing to do. I'm a psycho. Anyway, there is a difference between grabbing your child by, say, its shoulder, holding it still, and giving a quick smack on the ass. Yeah, their ass is going to hurt, but they're going to get the point. Don't do it again. Where there is a difference between being an almost 300-pound man and beating a child in the face with a frying pan. There is no amount of okayness in that. It's just no. There's a huge difference between quick smack on the ass that doesn't leave any marks or pain, just physical trauma, and being an asshole.
Well, I mean, there's also, because I understand with the state of discipline in America, there's this, and a lot of other places, there's this huge-ass gray area of things that, depending on the severity of, or depending on the person you're dealing with, the particular official, it can be considered abuse or it can be considered discipline. You
know what? The fucking world needs to stop being a bunch of pansy-ass bullshit crybabies. Seriously, grow a fucking set. Boo-hoo, mommy and daddy smacked your ass. Okay, welcome to the real world where if you fuck up, people don't like you. Not everyone's your friend, not everyone's gonna give you a trophy, and you're not fucking special. There are 7.2...
I'm a special snowflake!
No, you're not. You're fucking like everyone else. Deal with it.
Fuck you, I'm a snowflake!
Like everyone else.
I am quite the eclectic snowflake.
Black, and he has a father figure to say hi, dad, to. Not too many of them have that.
I didn't grow up on welfare, just food stamps.
It's okay, I've been there too. I guess I'm a quarter black.
Woo. But no, and without the joking, I do understand where you're coming from. I'm gonna give this one, since he missed the last question. Joaquin, how do you feel about the beating, genocide, and rape of your people? I mean, how do you feel about child abuse?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, what's your feelings on it?
We've all been whipped as a child before, like, not like literally whipped, but we got disciplined. There's a thin line between abuse and you getting disciplined. And I think it's just stupid. I just think it's stupid. People need to stop being so fucking mental with that shit. I don't know.
Fluff.
Huh?
Question, nigga. Answer.
Didn't I give my input?
I know I gave it to Jen first, and I gave it to you. I remember you popped in for a second, but I don't remember asking you the question.
Okay. Light smacking, okay. If it leaves a mark, that's too far. And don't humiliate your child.
Oh, like that public. Yeah, well, we'll go on that because that's another forum I want to talk about. I don't know. For me, it's a little weird, and Fluff knows because Fluff's been there. Like the line in my family, the line between abuse and discipline is very muddled. To where it's almost indistinguishable. And so I have a weird feeling with it because I feel like swatting your kid on the ass, even though it seems like I'm not going to say there are better ways to handle it, but there's probably more just more ways to deal with it other than swatting them. But just like a quick pat on the ass or some shit isn't going to kill them. Like I used to get knocked upside the head when I was a kid. I'm not going to consider it abuse. Like unless like cut open my head or some shit, it's nothing. But I feel like there's also a limit you go like even allowing. There's still like that culture of what Jen said as far as suck it up and grow a pair, where unfortunately a lot of the stuff that you can't grow a pair for a lot of things. Like for me, like shit, I was getting my ass handed to me like I was a nigga on the street when I was like 11, 12, just because I reached my mom's like height. And when I say ass handed to me, like we're not talking about like a quick pat, like we're talking like brawls. Like street balls, all rules are allowed. Getting my ass beat, and there's no like suck it up for that. Now, am I better for it? Probably. I'm taking ass beating. Fluff knows that, but I feel like there just needs to be like a quick guideline, and we have to understand that this culture of suck it up sometimes is applicable, but it's not always applicable. Because when we think of discipline, obviously being rational, we think of like a swat on that, and like nothing major, even if it leaves like a tiny bruise, like nothing serious. But a lot of the times, and oftentimes, at least in my experience, and not just my personal experience, to those around me in different regions, it's never just a quick swat on the ass or like a quick grounding. Even if it's not the most brutal of some shit, it's some shit that borders, if not falls directly in line with abuse. Like, you shouldn't be using foreign objects on your child to beat the shit out your child. And then, with the culture that we have here, a lot of times when child abuse is reported...
Beat your child with an item, beat them with a dildo so that way it's at least soft.
Oh my god. But no, with the culture we have here, like, you can go report abuse, and then it's just seen as, oh, you should suck it up. Unless it's like some seriously weird, obscene shit like burning cigarettes or some shit. It's seen as fine. You can beat the shit out. Like my mother's proof, you can beat the shit out of your kid. The cops can come, and it's just seen as discipline. That's what it really is. Like you can leave your kid like bruised. You can bloody a nose.
You told me no, so I tried to kill him.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, yeah, pretty much. But I'm saying you can bloody a nose, you can black an eye, you can break a bone, or leave deep tissue bruising, and it's just seen as discipline. It's seen, or a lot of police officers, a lot of officials, just like, well, I went through it and I turned out fine. But shit like that can have serious effects. That's why the whole suck it up argument, at least in my opinion, is a bit dangerous. Because though, like, for the kids who are seriously just getting a swat on the ass, or like just like some really quick, not even really painful shit, they just need to suck it the fuck up. But for the kids that are getting their asses handed to them for very minor offenses,
I'd like to say something.
Fuck up on dumb shit.
I'd like to say something on abuse. Like you were saying, like the disgrace of my kind. We no. We were put in reservations. Like my dad was in a reservation. They were whipped. They were beaten. Some of them got beaten to death. They cut off their hair. They scarred them. My dad is still scarred. And some of that, yeah, my dad didn't abuse me, but he's not all there from just discipline.
Well, yeah, I mean,
he has OCD. He's in the army now.
That shit.
Yeah. But you can never make your child feel uncomfortable or hurt your child to a point where your kid doesn't want to go out in public or get anxiety or panic attacks from seeing certain things or getting talked in a certain way. It just doesn't keep them organized with school or your career.
Or anything really.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of shit like around it, and a lot of times when you're in abuse situations, you can't necessarily pinpoint one thing. I just have a really big issue, and I usually love gray areas. I have a really big issue with the gray areas where it's like this severity thing. Like, no, if you're leaving, if I do, let's put it like this: if I do it to your kid and it's considered assault, you should not be able to do it to your child. Like if I can do it to you as a grown, like let's say we're two grown folk, if I can do it to you and it's seen as fucking assault, then you should not be able to do the same acts onto your child and consider it discipline.
Even if it's not considered assault, you still shouldn't do it.
Like beating kids with broomsticks and shit, and then of course everyone is culturally too. There's a lot of unfortunate ethnic culture and shit, and it's like, oh well, I survived it, but that doesn't mean it's right. And your ass 9 times out of 10 the people that say I survived it were never really dealt with the issues they had with it, and so we really don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. Saying I survived it doesn't really mean shit. But again, there's a time and place for the suck it up. Like if you're just getting like a quick sod in your ass, like kids who get one pop and then scream for an hour. Oh my god, she appears and screams for an hour. Shut the fuck up about it.
I can interject with something about my area. I live in a somewhat better area, middle class to higher middle class area. A lot of the kids around here should have been beaten as a child because they are just stuck up bitches. Like their parents need to. And they're the type that will go, oh my god, mommy hit me. Like we had a girl a few years ago in my high school. She got mad at her mom for not buying her a new cell phone, so she went to the nurse and told the nurse that her mom was beating her. She got taken away from her parents, and like all this horrible shit happened, only to find out that she made the whole story up because her mom wouldn't give her a cell phone. When she finally did get returned to me, I would have beaten her ass. Like that is some absolute bullshit.
I would have beat her and given her a reason to get taken away.
Well, see, you also have to understand, like, what I'm just not going to speak on that necessarily because I don't know everything in the household because, and again, Alex can tell you and Seth, living in a house with two very good actors as parents, when I say very good actors as in, no, this is what happened and they can make you believe anything, it's kind of hard to really know what the fuck happened. Now, if it's over, even if it's just over phone, we don't know the other issues going on in the house. But if it's just that simple cut and dry case, I'm not going to say beating her is the best option, but it's a normal reaction. I'm just saying, in my opinion, there are probably more ways to deal with this, especially starting young, than beating your children. And when I say beating, it is meaning like, disciplining, corporal punishment. Now, of course, I don't have children, so I can't tell you the way I'm going to deal with my kids when I have them. That's if I can even have them. But I wouldn't use corporal punishment as my first line. Like, unless you pose an imminent threat to me, I'm not really one to use any sort of physical threat or physical violence towards you. And I want to carry that over to my kids. Because they're people.
Seth will be right back. He's just getting his charger here.
I'd just like to point out about the story that we went over, how it wasn't a gay couple that beat a child.
Oh, yeah, with all the stories of how abusive gays are. Well, I'm going to ask my next question because I'm not waiting on Seth. He'll pop up when he pops up. I will go back to this question, though, for Seth because Seth and I have similar experiences, and I'm curious about his take on it. Next question is, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this without, like, seeming like dick.
You might as well just be an asshole. I mean, we've already been told we can basically do fuck all on this show.
Well, I
It's
mean, I
not
know
to-
we care.
By the
It's
way, if you're
just-
under 13 and your parents see you watching this, we're not to blame. Your parents are to blame for not keeping an eye on your internet habits.
Agreed.
It's Jesus' fault.
All right. So my next question would be, what sort of okay, how would you, how do you feel like the abusers should be dealt with? Because I'm very vulgar. So how do you feel like those who, for whatever reason, are being the case now, unless it's like lethal, like unless it killed the kid, but they're just abusing their kid. How do you feel they should be dealt with?
Tie them
But
up,
Tim and Alex, there's
hang
an
them
order
to
to
a
this
tree,
shit.
and beat them like a pinata.
Why did I feel like you were going to say that? Jen, darling?
If it results in lethal, I'm all for the death penalty, and we can go over the death penalty another night. But I honestly,
That's another night. I'm not doing this shit now.
what?
I said that's another night's topic. That'd be like Wednesday's topic or some shit. I'm not doing that now.
No, we're gonna need a Saturday for the death penalty. We're gonna have to end that discussion with something really cute and fluffy because there is no good time to talk about the death penalty.
Agreed.
We have to bribe them with seeing something really adorable at the end of that video. Anyway,
I might turn on my camera.
yes, that will be the bribe.
Why isn't your camera on?
I never turn on my camera. They know about like as little of my personal life as possible.
Yay! We had someone subscribe to our show. Thank you, Draven.
Gracias.
What happened?
Someone subscribe.
Seek kill.
Oh, wait, this shit's live.
God damn it! Who let Hitler in? At least you finally got rid of that fucking
Just
mustache.
march through the door.
Anyway,
What mustache?
so-
We still
so-
have a mustache. I'm
That's
growing.
what I'm saying.
anyway, guys, but
Bitch,
yeah,
I'm
so if it's not lethal,
Time in prison. Definitely time in prison. Or, we can just do what the old English used to do and eye for an eye bullshit. You're gonna torture a kid? Let's rip your fingernails off.
No, I take a toothpick, stick it in underneath their toenail, and make them kick a door.
Yeah. Why the fuck not? They want to torture a kid, and we're talking, some actual bullshit, like taking a broomstick and beating your kid across the back with it. You know
I've
what?
had that happen.
Let's go ahead and just stab some wooden splinters into your back. Let's see how you like it.
I've had that happen. It was not a fun experience.
Throw
Seth,
them up in the air and then shoot them with a MG42.
I'm talking about if they didn't kill anybody, they just beat the like for example, your dad. How would you deal with him? Even not counting the other stuff. I'm talking about just simple abuse, just the shit he did to you before you came back to Continental. Do you feel like just people like him? Do you feel like they should
I
in
would
dealing
shoot
with them
him.
legally? No, I'm saying just dealing with abusers legally. Do you feel like they should be killed, or do you feel like they should go to jail, or how do you feel like that should work out if they haven't killed the child?
To me, if the child didn't do anything wrong, like not eating breakfast, really, that's the stupidest excuse to beat your child. So I would think they need an automatic death penalty for that, but that's just
Well, I
me.
mean, obviously if they killed
Homicide.
somebody. I'm just saying, if the child lived, the child's obviously going to be fucked up regardless. But I'm saying if the child lived, as long as he wasn't seriously maimed or, obviously killed. Hakim.
Torturement, the same way they did it to the child.
All
I
right.
agree with Jen. Oh, nice bed, Jen.
Thank you.
Native American brother. Of course he fucking disappears.
I'm back. What up?
All right. So, question: how do you feel like the abuser should be dealt with in cases where the child isn't maimed seriously or killed?
Go to counseling. You just go to counseling, man. If you have the right mind of hitting your child and thinking that's right, and going out in public and doing that, what is wrong with you? That's illegal, man. You can't just get by like that. Go to counseling.
I'm going to
By
agree with him. I feel like I'm not gonna say necessarily like there just needs to be some sort of mental counseling and evaluation that needs to be dealt with, because anyone who feels like beating up or harming something that is defenseless, is okay, there's something wrong with you mentally. One would assume.
It's like me.
Now, there are some people who just don't give a fuck, but one would assume you're having some sort of mental illness, you're having some sort of mental issue, and it should be dealt with accordingly. That does not mean that you get to skip out on a punishment, but I feel like we in prison was supposed to be used as fucking rehabilitation or like rehab or some shit. Basically, it's like it's supposed to get you ready to go back into society. We're supposed to take you away, fix you, and push you back out. And instead, we take you away, set you up to come back in, and if you're lucky, you get out just to come back in. And I feel like that should be part of your prison sentence or whatever else. Is you should be seen by professionals, and you should have that dealt with. And if you were to continue put into society, then of course we'd keep you locked up. But I mean, I'm not gonna say unless you killed somebody, I'm not gonna say advocate the death penalty. I'm just gonna say like you have something wrong with you, and we need to figure that shit out. Also, Seth, I'm going to go back to those who are watching. I'm going to go back because you were gone, but I want your opinion on this. Because wasn't he gone for the question I asked? I asked last. I know that he was gone. God damn it. Yeah, you were gone. Okay. So... Shit. I didn't forget the question. Jen, what was the question I asked? Satan is not with me today.
But I got something to bring up. So what happens if your kid is like a legitimate psychopath, like a serial killer?
Obviously, my answer is, and I'll let everyone else answer. My answer would be if we lived in a somewhat like perfect world, you would send them to a mental facility, and that mental facility would deal with them accordingly. It would be humane. I'm not talking about killing, but it'd be humane. The conditions would be great. It'd be regulated. They wouldn't be abused. They'd be taken care of, and they'd be kept kept safe from not only others who would want to exploit that, but from themselves especially. In this world that we live in reality, there isn't really a good mental health care system. It's really just all shit. And so, I mean, obviously you're supposed to send them there, but you're probably going to lead to fucking your kid up worse. So, I mean, other than that or trying to deal with it yourself and, obviously getting a mental professional, professional help, it's kind of like a toss-up. Like, if the kid has a serious mental illness, it's kind of hard to put direct blame on the kid. It's like a kid with Tourette's yelling out "fuck." You can't really get mad at him completely for a condition that he has no necessary control over.
But what I mean is, no mental condition, just a legitimate psychopath. They were born without...
Wants to kill stuff?
What?
Like a child that wants to kill stuff?
Yeah, like all they care about is...
Well, my idea would be to take all those children and then put them on an island and let them kill each other.
So wait, Battle Royale?
Yeah.
Hey,
sounds
check
like that, but that way no one innocent gets hurt.
Jen Darling, check chat. And, no, I can't even say, like, because that is a whole, like, mental issue unto itself. It's one of those weird ass things because it's not fully understood. It's like I can't deal with it. I say mental issue because there's not a majority of people, like there's not a majority of population that's just born into the world saying "fuck it, I'm gonna kill everything." That's what I want to do. Unless you live in America, of course, and then you have to live in Texas or
America.
Florida. and then you have to be a police officer. But
Okay.
it's still like an issue unto itself. It needs to be dealt with accordingly. But I mean, if the kid poses a direct threat with you, like to you, like if the kid at some point tries to cause bodily harm to you and he's a serious threat, then you deal with him accordingly. Like if I have a kid that ends up, which probably will bigger than me, and one day he tries to kill me, I'm going to kill him. Hopefully, in theory, this would be I'm going to protect myself even though this is my child.
Hit him with a frying pan.
Or I can hit him with a frying pan. But I'm saying, if the situation was ideal, I would remove myself from the situation, protect myself. Now, that probably wouldn't happen, but still, you deal with the child accordingly. But, you guys have other ideas, so Alex, or not Alex and Jen already went. Seth? See, this is why I don't depend on my brothers. They're always watching porn or something.
I've been here so far using up my mobile data.
I know, I'm talking about Seth.
You said brothers, meaning more than one.
Oh yeah, because I'm poping them. They're also undependable. It's like 99% of the brothers are undependable, and then there's like you and Jordan.
I'm reliable.
Yeah, but you're not a brother. It's different.
Could be.
I don't know. Unless she's a teapot. I don't see.
Chicks with sticks.
Is she a teapot? Are you a teapot?
It's Pepper and steam.
Oh yeah, she understand the term teapot. All right. Well, Seth, were you there? Were you there for the? Did you give your answer for the question? The last one.
Was I what of the what?
Your answer for the last question asked right before
Right now,
you decided
I
to
can't
disappear.
hear anyone. Someone else talking?
This is why we can't have nice things.
All right, fuck it. So we're gonna go to another topic. Alex, throw
Hey
a
Jen,
question
can you
out
try
there
talking
for
to
us.
me?
What's up? Hello?
Yeah, I can't hear any of you guys. Hold on.
Well, then
Something's
get the
going on.
fuck out.
If you ain't talking money, we don't want to talk.
Cause if you ain't a hoe, get up out my trap house. Anyway, Alex, did you have a question you wanted to
I
throw
don't
out
know what's
there
going on.
for the in relation to our topic? Since Jen threw one out.
Can't think of anything right now, but if I do, I will let you know.
Here, I'm just going to leave the podcast. I'll come back when it's not messing up.
I don't need you to fucking tell me. I don't. Get the fuck on somewhere. Little shit. Anyway, so
There was three.
then there was three. There's always three. So then my next my next question would be, where do we feel like the use of like the self-defense in regards to a child should be like allowed? Because most of them say, well, I'm talking about like, I mean like any like whatever age you feel is
Because if the
obviously,
child's
say
less than
teenagers.
like 8, all you really have to do is stick your arm out and put your hand on their forehead, and they can't touch you.
We'll say like 12 and up, because that's really the only time your child becomes a threat if they do. Like I'm talking about like a really
I'm pretty sure a
physical-
6-year-old can learn how to throw a knife. So I mean,
I'm talking about like there's no 6-year-old that can choke a fucking kid out. Like or not kid, but there's no 6-year-old that can choke their dad out. There's no 6-year-old that's like super duper buff, just beating the shit out of their dad every day. So, bitch, you better give me my lunch money. Like that shit doesn't happen. But I'm talking about like adolescent, like up, like or not adolescent, but like once you hit puberty and up, where do you feel like the use of violence, like actual physical violence, is should be allowed in terms of self-defense?
I don't know.
Okay, that's better.
What you say, Alex?
I'm trying to think.
Okay. Sorry, everyone that's watching. We're waiting on Alex. Hurry the fuck up.
Okay. Hey, how's it going?
Would drop kicking them be too far?
What's your child? I mean, all right. Here's the situation: the child has to pose an imminent threat to your life,
Like I could die.
or at least be seriously harmed.
Okay, then.
Hey Jay, is it okay if I make a quick shout out to someone that's watching right now?
Can you do it after we answer this question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. So anyway, well, I can't even say imminent. It's just like the possibility of a child like posing imminent threat because there's a lot of kids that are huge. Like I'm sure. Remember the Asian Nathan when we were going to Fort Campbell? Like he could have posed a serious threat, but I doubt that he ever did to his parents. It's like shit. Like
just drop kick them.
Alex, you have to like be able to raise your legs up far enough to kick them with your big ass.
I didn't say I would drop kick them personally. I'll get a nigga and make that nigga drop kick them. I'll beat a nigga with a nigga.
What did I just hear? Oh god.
I'll pick up one of my other children and beat that child with that child.
All right,
god.
All right, Jen, what's your thoughts on this? When would you actually what would you consider like a serious threat to you, Jen?
Well, one, I hate kids with a passion. I don't ever want them.
Obviously.
Yeah, I don't like kids. But if I ended up with completely by accident, out of my control, like one was just dropped on me and there was nowhere else I could ditch it. I couldn't even take it to a firehouse because it was too damn old. And it was a complete fucking psycho and it got in my room and got one of my knives. We would have a full-on, like, knife battle.
I think Jen's really prepared for the knife battles too. Like she has an armory in that bitch.
Right, I'll go get him.
You better hope that child's not like Joseph, because then it's gonna be a knife battle. It's gonna be a sword battle.
I'm prepared for that.
I don't even need a knife. I get a staff on their ass. I'll pick up a tree on their ass.
I don't need to get beat by a tree again, so.
And so you guys understand.
I will get my measly 3 fucking knives.
See, Jen stays strapped.
Oh,
Also, for our viewers at home who are like, "What the fuck do you mean a tree?" So me and Alex were in the woods by my old place one day, and I picked up a tree. Like, yes, legitimately picked up, just ripped a tree out of the ground, and I javelin threw it at him. Obviously, this is not a very large tree. The tree would be more than maybe like 8 to 9 inches in diameter, like round. Like, but it wasn't like a small tree either. Like I threw a fucking tree at him. Like regardless of what size the tree was.
Twice my size.
Yeah, like it was taller than both of us, and it was pretty damn heavy. And I just javelin threw a fucking tree at him.
But on terms of knives, my knife to kill people, my knife for self-defense, and then knife to play around with.
Wait, are we looking at?
Can you go grab my knives? Please do. And please go grab my assault pack upstairs as well.
Okay, so while they're showing off knives, Seth, where do you feel? Because I know you've had issues with Drew and them as far as y'all's going back and forth. So where do you feel when you have kids, you will put what is the line you'll draw? You actually put your hands on them.
If they steal my cigarettes, that's when I'll put my hands on them. I'll be like, I'm gonna get you one. Be one of those awesome parents.
It's like you have to ask.
You're like, oh yeah, you can smoke. Yeah, just ask, man, and I'll give you it. Oh, you want a beer? I'll grab one for you. What do you want? Like,
yeah, but I'm just saying, realistically, where do you feel like, especially for us, because we have a little more training than the average people, and because you and I are a lot larger than the average person.
Yeah, we definitely are.
Where do you feel like we can draw a line? Because obviously, everyone's level of where they feel threatened is different. For us, it takes a lot for us to feel seriously threatened. Like, we can recognize what is realistically a threat, but for us to actually feel an imminent threat, for Seth and I, it takes a lot more. And so I'm curious where you're going to draw the line with your kids. Because, I mean, Alex has held a gun to me before, and that wasn't an imminent enough threat for me to do anything.
Where's your pack at? I don't know where it is.
It's in the closet right behind you.
But anyway,
like
I said, Seth has held a gun to me before, so imminent threats are kind of like very low to me, especially living with my mother. So where do you consider a serious imminent threat with your child?
I would say touching my Xbox.
Realistically, you fucking.
That's what I mean. Like, I would automatically buy their own Xbox if they touch mine, because I would make. Here's the thing: if I already have kids,
I
then
just like it to be established on the
already
record
know
that Seth is going to beat
up.
his kids anytime they touch something of his if they have their own.
Yeah, like mine is off limits because I'm probably gonna have a lot of porn on it. Just be like, yeah,
All right,
I got
so we're
porn.
going to cut this conversation off right now before Jen and I get back into our conversation about safe ramming. If you didn't watch that episode, watch last Wednesday's episode, and we'll teach you about safe ramming, kids. We're gonna have a seminar on it tomorrow. But yo, Sitting Bull, where do you draw the line with your kids? Is Sitting Bull gone?
He probably is. Give him a minute. He will come
I'm
back.
still looking for this pack here.
I will answer the question. Where would you draw the line? Like, where would you draw the line to put your hands on your kids, like in a serious fight?
Where would I draw the line if we got in a serious fight?
What would make you seriously put your hands on the kids? Like the way my mom would say, what would make you treat your kids like another nigga on the street?
If they do drugs.
Okay, now that's a tricky one. What do you consider drugs? Like, are we talking about just weed, or are we just talking about like everything else? Because everything else is...
If this kid is 16, 15-year-old, or older, or maybe older, because I don't know, maybe one day I will be a parent, but if it's weed, I wouldn't really care, but if it's anything like hard.
Like hard shit.
Yeah.
Like shit that Alex and I used to take. Like hard shit.
Like,
okay, I can respect that.
Yeah.
I only like it for the
Not
smell,
gonna-
Joseph. Leave me alone.
Tell me where this pack is,
That
because it
cool?
isn't in here.
Okay, I think I can
Okay.
respect that.
Yeah, point out my closet, please do.
Oh
I
yeah,
can
this is
respect that.
closet.
Well, anyway, Seth, you said you had a shout out, so this would be the time to do it.
Michaela Ramos. She is one of my friends. She's technically a sister.
That's cool.
My shout out for her is one day. You will end up letting me watch your kids one day.
And one day you won't get your kids back in one piece.
Oh, so true.
All right. So before we go any
Yeah,
further,
They're gonna be messing with my porn.
Yeah, you got knives all over the floor.
Grab them.
okay. So before we go any further, I know that I mentioned this last episode, and this is shameless plug time. We haven't done this in a while. We haven't done this since Jen and I first started doing this. But it's time again for shameless plugs. So I will screen share with you in a moment. But we were like, well, shit. We need to do stuff to support the podcast because you guys have to understand we don't get paid for this shit. We kind of just do this because we figure it. We like to do it. We like to interact with our fans and shit. I know that my brothers like to come on here when they do. And, they like to be a part of the conversation. We like to start conversations. And we also like to entertain you guys. With that said, again, there's, no magical, mystical fucking YouTube money. There's no,
Bacon
money that's flying out of our ass. This is pretty much like us doing this because we enjoy it. With that said,
Start donating.
Start donating. No, I'm not gonna say start donating, but I have a clothing line fashion designer consultant and Jack of pretty much everything.
gmail.com is the official PayPal.
Is the get the fuck out of here? No, honestly though, but that might be someday. But honestly though, no. On a serious note, past 2-3 weeks ago, I through my clothing line started just basically like an Atheist collection. It's just You know, everyone else has their own shirt, so why shouldn't we? So what I figured I'd do is it's the Godless collection, and we have some cool shit on there. And I mean, just I'm gonna screen share it in a minute and post the link. Where the fuck is it? Thank you. I want to screen share. That's all I want to do. That's it. There we go. Bam. And we're gonna share in 5 for the 4. Will it share? Will it fucking share? Is it gonna share? Yeah, it shared. You say, of course not, it's racist. Alex, you're a prick.
Yeah,
so
it's racist.
Again, you can notice the link. It's Blood Diamond Clothing. That's Spreadshirt.com/Godless Collection, all that other shit. But anyway, you can just go to the Blood Diamond Clothing at Spreadshirt.com, and go to the category bar right here, and you'll see all of our shit. But here is the Godless Collection. All the proceeds of this go towards just making the show better. I mean, this goes towards new equipment and shit. Goes towards getting Alex off crack. I mean, just shit that that'll make the show better. So realistically, like mics, hopefully when they're expanding to have like better cameras and shit, because we plan to do more projects. And so I know the collection is small now, but this is what we got. And you can go check it out. The link will be in the description, and if you're on the front page of the channel, you can just go to the tiny little box and click it, and it'll take you directly to it. Now that I'm done with shameless plugging.
Hey, Alex.
Oh my god.
What?
I don't know if it's better.
Are you kids done? Are you kids done comparing knives? Now I'm done with shameless plugging. My next topic with you
we have
guys.
the same knife.
We probably do. But,
Oh my god, we do. We have the same knife.
children. Hey children, stop talking about blades, because this is something serious. Now that we've gotten through majority of just like all the shut the fuck up.
Oh, thank you.
Now that we've talked about the majority, can everyone
Yo, here's my knife.
put the knives down or I'll put my dick on camera?
Oh god.
Jen's not stopping. She must want. Hakeem comes in like he must want to see it. No, realistically,
You know it. You know it.
no,
Mine's
seriously,
better.
guys.
It's homemade.
Here. Look at this.
Guys, seriously. Like, can we be serious for a moment? Now that we've shamelessly plugged and we've all compared knives, like whipping your dick
Let's
out.
touch the tip.
Isn't context. We'll touch tips one day. We'll touch tips on camera one day. But seriously, now that we've talked about physical abuse, the last topic I want to talk about is mental abuse. What would you consider mental abuse in regards to children? What types of punishments would you consider mental abuse? We'll go with Hakeem first. Yo, sitting.
What? Okay, what's the question?
God damn it, Hakeem! Stop texting thoughts. The question is, it's because we had talked about physical abuse for all this. So I want to end on a note of mental abuse. What would you consider mental abuse in regards to children, and what punishments would fall under mental abuse?
Scarring children, not letting them be who they really are, and abusing them in public.
Okay.
Oh, you want this?
No,
Alex,
Uh,
what would you
Remember,
consider
it's our
mental
morning.
abuse?
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
what would you consider mental abuse, and what punishments would you consider mental abuse?
Making your child uncomfortable in their own skin and trying to hide who they truly are. That's basically it. You make your child not feel safe being them, then fuck you.
Jen, darling.
Well, we actually got into like a huge debate about what the fuck was that? Did I knock something over? I don't fucking know. I have too much shit up there. Anyway, we got into this debate a few days ago on atheist music.
Oh,
And the one person said that it was a discussion on whether or not you should let your kids be themselves when they're at school. Because we were discussing that ad about the boy that tried to hang himself because he was bullied because of a My Little Pony backpack. Basically, the short term of it went that parents should only allow their kids to be themselves at home so that they meet society's standards at school. I came back with, so basically you're saying that being themselves is not good enough and that you're not supporting free thinking and self-expression because somebody might want to hurt their feelings by being an asshole. So instead of teaching them to stand up for themselves and learn to tell someone to fuck off, you're teaching them to be a whiny pansy who gives them the social pressure. So yeah, I really think parents need to stop playing the pansy card, teach their kids to stand up for themselves, not be assholes about it, but sit down and have legitimate conversations with their kids. Like, look, you're being bullied because you're gay, or you're being bullied because you like ponies. That's great. Be yourself. Don't hurt anyone. But if somebody's mean to you, you can tell them where to shove it.
Okay.
And parents nowadays are, I think, actually mentally hurting their children by trying to make them all the same, trying to make them conform, and by trying to tell them, you're a winner even when you suck at something. No. On occasion, kids need to hear they suck at something. Like, if your kid really wants to play basketball, but is a legal midget, it's not happening. Don't tell them they're going to be a superstar one day, because they are never going to be a superstar. Find something they can actually do with their life. Don't lie to them. You're fucking them over.
Seth, you're the last one before me.
Meat spin.
God
1
damn it,
hour
Seth,
of meat spin.
be serious before I... Oh, you still... God damn
Says
it.
we don't want to know what you watch on your free time.
Seriously,
Oh.
what do you what would you...
I watch Lemon Squeeze.
Shut the fuck up. What would you consider... Fuck up.
I'll make them...
even smaller.
If they were a boy and they were technically growing up like me, except without the abusive part, and they just tried to act like complete assholes. Yeah, they tried doing that. I would make them wear full pink if they were a boy.
I'm just saying, like, where would you? Because I understand that you're a little more radical than everyone else in the room, and that's why I like having you on here. And
Yeah.
Jen gave me that face, but Jen, you haven't heard all these men's like thoughts, so yeah. Can we stop comparing the size of your knives? My dick will always be bigger. So
Are you sure yours is bigger? I think mine's bigger.
that's not what your mom said.
Oh, God. That's
And
not what my
sure
aunt
what your
said.
aunt said. Oh.
We are in Kentucky.
Now again, what do you feel is like mental abuse? Like, where do you feel like a child is being mentally abused, and what punishments do you feel like fall under that?
If they're being mentally abused,
But I'm just saying, like, what do you feel is mental abuse when it comes to punishment and shit?
watching me and his mother's wedding video 28 times, and I'll make sure it's long.
Oh my God, can you be serious?
No, I mean like I don't mean in the end what happens. I just mean like rewind of the same action over and over and over and over again, because it will start to kick in.
So Seth obviously has issues, and his parents are terrible. They made him watch the wedding video.
Oh no, my mother,
I don't want to know.
she
Stop right
just,
there. Any sentence that starts with my mother, I don't want to know.
my father, he
Tell
technically
her
just
anything
was
that
beat
starts
me
with
until I was a
any member of
pole.
your family. Anything that starts with any member of your family, I don't want to know. Tell
The
your mom
asshole.
by the way.
You want me to tell mom you said hi?
Yeah. Anyway, I was gonna say, I don't know. I feel like mental abuse is one of those broad things. Like, obviously, and I don't think anyone else mentioned it, but Sitting Bull over there. That's your official racist nickname, by the way. So I'm going to nickname you Sitting Bull. Everyone has a racist nickname, so don't feel special.
I don't.
No doubt.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
Sitting Bull. No, call me Smoke Signals.
Smoke signals.
Yeah.
Smoke signals.
Victor! Victor!
And so it was from this day forth. He is Smoke Signals.
Victor!
But no, getting back to the seriousness. I feel like obviously humiliation is one, and when I say humiliation, I don't mean just public humiliation, like physical, like you're there, public, like all this Facebooking punishments. First of all, weird ass punishments, and second of all, just Facebooking in general, the punishment, so the whole world knows. Because once something's on the internet, it never leaves. So putting this kid on blast on the internet is it has the possibility to come back and bite this kid on the ass. Not to mention, you just basically made this kid the laughing stock of a couple million billion people. Just for what? To show him a punishment that could have been simply done in private. I feel like keeping your children locked in the houses. I'm not like being grounded. I'm talking about like if you're keeping your kid inside the house for like 2-3 years at a time or some shit, just for fuck's sake, just like for shits and giggles. There's an issue with that because your child's not gonna be like ready to handle the world. Like if your child is shut in for years and then out of nowhere he has to fucking get out the house and go see the world, he's gonna freak the fuck out. Alex knows this because I was locked in for 2 years and then I came to his house and I freaked the fuck out.
Wait, I can drink this water and not get hit in the face with a coffee pot? Sweet.
Unfortunately that was an exact situation too. But
Almost getting gutted.
Just stupid shit. But I'm just saying, like, and of course, if you're making your child feel uncomfortable about who they are, also if you're crushing your child's dreams, there's a difference between like being realistic, because you can be realistic with a kid and be like, look, I'm not saying this is a possibility. I'll still support you, but let's just be honest here. This shit ain't gonna work out. Just like I'm finna be honest with Jen. Jen thinks she's finna go to sleep, but let's be honest here.
She's not.
I could sleep through anything.
Oh, there she is.
You off a cliff with a wooden
Hang out of the
spoon.
depths of hell.
Can you sleep through this ramming? But only if it's you said probably. Well, guys, it must be consensual. I don't know if that's consensual. Someone comment in below and see if like the facial ramming is consensual because she said probably. You got to practice safe ramming.
She didn't say no, it's consensual.
If I'm not,
Alex, before you trigger the feminazis. Stop before you trigger the feminazis.
Don't be silly. Rap your willy.
Don't be
fuck
silly.
the Nazis.
Join the Nazis.
But I mean, I don't know. I just feel like that's really like there's some weird shit you can do to your kid, or like depriving them of shit just to be a dick. Like don't take shit away from your kid to be petty.
Dignity.
I fucked your mom in the shower.
If you fucked my mom, you don't have like any standards at all.
That's worse than fucking.
You have STDs, sir.
You have no standards, sir. What is wrong with you?
I need to collect them all.
You need to collect them all. Jen, I think that means you're next.
Oh God, no! Oh God!
I love Jen, I swear.
This is why I do drugs. Just pointing it
I'll
out.
be hovering over you at night.
This is
He's gonna be
Jen's
hovering over
Jen, that
me
doesn't
tonight.
stop me. You know how many
Jen,
notes
help
have been
me!
inside me.
He's gonna be hovering over me.
Anyway, my last question for the night before we go on to anything else is how do you feel like mental abuse should be handled in comparison to physical abuse? Because we already talked about the way we feel like physical abusers should be treated. So how do we handle those whose abuse isn't physical? It doesn't leave any physical marks, but leaves a often worse mental issue with said child. Jen, because you like to throw books at everything, you go first.
Wait,
Getting an ass whooping. by a guy that.
Do not bring the book into this. But for real, what is your thoughts, Jen?
I have a book, guys. I have a book.
Jen, I don't want you to exhaust the energy to go get the book. So just
What's the book? I want to know.
she
It's
has a.
a psychology textbook.
We brought this
Oh,
up. We brought this up when she brought it out when we were in the question of children and sexuality. Thus the book joke. But anyway,
The book joke started with the Ken Ham debate, and
actually, the book joke did start with the Ken Ham debate. She's
don't
correct.
make fun of him. Any chance I get, and I have a textbook on it, I will say I have a book.
Seth left the podcast because his computer is shit.
I don't
And
know.
yeah. He'll come back when he gets a new one.
All right. Well,
Can't wait until I get my new one. It's gonna be awesome.
anyway, Jen. So, what is your thought on this? So we can wrap this up.
See, the thing is with child mental abuse, it can be really, really hard to actually prove. Like, there's no physical evidence. And there have been several cases where the kid has been
There's physical evidence of mental abuse.
not.
Well, no, we're not counting like self-mutilation. We're talking about like just like excusing that. We're excusing that, just like the kid's mental well-being. Because I mean, there's some markers where there's no way to definitively tell.
At certain ages, it can be really hard to tell because some of the markers, sleeplessness or wetting the bed, and if you're mentally abusing a 4-year-old, there's a chance they could sleep in the bed. So how is somebody outside the family who just randomly sleeps over one night, sees no abuse, to know that the kid wet the bed because he's having nightmares about his parents beating him or anything else, threatening to throw a frying pan at his head? How are they supposed to know that there's mental abuse going on, and the kid's not just, still wetting the bed because it's a toddler?
Well, I mean, for me, it's even a more difficult issue because it also depends. Like each person has their own threshold. Like I know a lot of the shit that would be considered by anyone abuse that happened to me. I don't know what its effects will be in the future, but I know currently, like I have a larger threshold for shit, and I always have, so it didn't bother me as much. I just know that it's fucked up, but it didn't leave me with any mental tics that I can notice at this current point in time. That's another, because it's another thing you have to take into account is like, what can this kid really handle? Because there's some really fucking tough kids who just really tough people in general who can take anything you can throw at them for the most part, and then there's some kids who are so fucking fragile they'll break if the wind blows too hard.
Can I give a shout out?
Sure.
This guy doesn't want to get a shout out, but I'm giving him a shout out anyways. I'm giving a shout out to Zachary Chatsis. Yeah, that's his full name. You can find him in Saskatchewan. He goes to Belfair. But yeah, he's cool.
He's a whore. Now mute your mic. Alex, what is your thought on this? How do you deal with the mental abusers? And I will even give you if the physical proof of self-mutilation is there. But you have to give both answers. You have to give one without self-mutilation being present and one with self-mutilation being present.
So, like, what's the question? Like, what will we do to the abuser or to the abuser?
Yeah, how do you handle the mental abuser?
I'd say fight fire with fire, but that doesn't really work out too well. So, gas chamber it is then.
But the gas chamber is a lie, and if you need to hear more about how gas chambers are,
What episode is that? Like 2 or 3?
on the Holocaust denial theory.
Isn't it like episode 2 or 3? Yeah, go back on like one of the earlier ones, and you'll hear about how I'm a Nazi. I'll profess it now. I'm ashamed of my acts, but I'm working on it. And the Holocaust was a lie.
The Holocaust was a lie.
Alex, did you see that one?
No.
We'll talk about it after. All right, Seth and smoke signals. They have like 2 seconds before I just say fuck it.
Kick them from the call.
Go.
Shut up, Alex. I'll kill you.
Seth and smoke signals. What do you feel should happen to the mental abusers?
Mental abusers. Can you repeat the full question because I just started hearing all of this?
what do you feel like? What do you feel should happen to those who mentally abuse not only children but another person? Like we've already talked about what we should do if there's physical proof. But with mental abuse, a lot of times if we excuse the physical manifestation of self mutilation, if we pretend that this is not in the equation, then there is no definitive way to prove then and there that mental abuse has occurred. It's just generally one person's word against another person's word. So how do we deal in cases where there are claims of mental abuse or it appears that mental abuse is evident? What do we then do with the abuser? I know I used big words. I'll let that sink in for you.
Oh no. I got everything. I am actually thinking I would personally, you guys seen Big Fat Liar that has that movie Big Fat Liar?
Yeah, for the sake of what you're saying, yeah.
I would do what those kids did to that director. I would like do all those things to the abuser, color their hair a different color their skin to where it stays on them for wasn't it for 2 days or something?
So just basically fuck with them.
Fuck yeah.
Okay, and
Zing.
smoke signal sitting bull stone face. What is your answer?
I'd strap C4s to my chest and say Allah Black. I don't know.
Allah
Akbar.
Allah Akbar.
Allah Black.
Akbar.
Akbar.
So that's how we're going to end the podcast. So remember, kids, seminar on safe and consensual ramming tomorrow. We'll start that at noon. Yes, that's a real thing that's going to happen. So if you want to hear me talk about safe facial ramming, or actually bodily ramming, period, for about 30, 45 minutes to an hour, I'll post the link. This will happen. Thank you to my brothers coming in and the newest addition, Sitting Bull over there. Thank you for Jen for thank you for Jen for showing up, even though she feels like shit and she wasn't even going to originally turn on the camera.
I knew you put that down your throat.
And like it. Now ram it.
Oh God. Die.
This one's smart because he practiced safe ramming. You don't ram sharp R-jups.
Don't be silly. Wrap your willy.
Unless you have protection.
Are we still on the air?
Don't be silly.
Yeah.
Wrap your willy.
Anyway, seriously, guys, thank you for watching. The next show will be Wednesday. I will most likely be there. If not, thank you for bearing with me and my brothers. And, of course, Jen, for the past hour, 2 hours.
Smoke signals.
Hour and 12 minutes and 9 seconds.
Remember, kids, smoke cigarettes. It's good.
Crystal meth too. I heard it's good for your health.
Crystal fucking.
It's a great weight loss. Grind shit and fuck school.